Hi everyone, this is Andrew Silva, the middle school technology teacher at Renaissance Charter School of St. Lucie. This recording is for keyboarding day 1 of our keyboarding unit for computer applications in Business 2. In this unit, we'll be starting to talk about some of the basics and essentials of keyboarding. A lot of what we talked about in Computer 1 will build on in the keyboarding for Computer 2. Overall, the main goal right here is to start with a review of Computer 1 concepts in keyboarding and build upon those to do Computer 2 concepts. Overall, we're going to be looking at doing techniques for numeric and symbolic keyboarding. So we're going to focus more on number keyboarding and using those numbers to do symbol keyboarding as well. In this unit, I'll be measuring students with the following methods. For our practice assignments, I'll be measuring them with labs K1 through K7, so 7 different labs. The first 5 will deal with all of the reviews of the keyboard, while labs 6 and 7 will talk about number keyboarding as well as using the keypad on the side of a keyboard. In this assessment, we'll be also doing a practice speed building. We'll be measuring the words per minute for students, and they'll compare it and see how much growth they've accomplished. Additionally, we'll be talking about the number pad, and we're going to play a few games with the number pad in our practice assignments. As for mastery assignments, students will have a quiz of 10 questions worth 10 points. They'll be doing their mastery speed building, which all that is I'll take their practice score and see how much of a change they had and compare the two. And then their mastery number pad keyboarding, we're going to play grocery supermarket, in which the students will have to ring me up with different amounts of prices and then give me a total at the end. For our unit, we'll be starting in week 1 with an introduction, talking about the home row keys, the top row keys, the bottom row keys, and then the number row keys. These will all be a review of Computer 1 concepts. But in week 2, this is when things start to shift a little bit. We'll start with symbols and shift keys in the keyboard, and then we'll move on to the number pad. And then I'll give students some practice on their speed building. During the practice time, they'll be able to practice their skills, and they'll be able to actually do a couple words per minute tests. On Friday, we'll have Maker Challenge number 2. Then in week 3, Labor Day falls on week 3. Then we have practice on Tuesday and Thursday of that week. And then we'll also continue on with mastery speed building. That's when they'll get tested on their mastery speed. And then on the last Friday of the unit, they'll take their quiz and then they'll have their mastery assignment in their number pad. So about the keyboard is laid out in the QWERTY layout, and if you don't know what that means, take a look at the first row of letters in your keyboard, and you'll easily see why it's the QWERTY layout. This is from the days of typewriters, and it has not changed, probably will not change because it's been used for so long. So why do we study typing? Typing is a very important skill, especially if you go into business or any other profession, really. Some jobs actually require people to take a typing test before they take the job. It's also a very useful skill, especially if you're using your cell phone these days. Once you build your speed, you'll know the keyboard for a long time. And as I like to tell them, Mr. Silva has been typing for well over 10 years and has learned how to type. A lot of students will ask me about NitroType. NitroType is an online program that allows kids to race cars with typing. I don't discourage it. I do have my own concerns about it, but I don't discourage it because students are actually learning to type. A lot of students in our school have used NitroType and have started to build some proficiency. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those skills and actually apply it so students are using them in a more productive way. During the typing unit, students may use typing.com, typingclub.com, and any others that may be approved by me. If in doubt, make sure you ask me because I want to make sure that students are getting the most correct and most viable typing software out there. I'll be using typing.com to get the students' words per minute tests. Before we start actually talking about the importance of keyboarding And diving into actual keyboarding, we're going to talk about ergonomics and keyboarding. Ergonomics is the act of typing correctly and typing for comfort. There are some following guidelines that students should use when doing ergonomics. You should sit up straight and not be hunched over. Eyes should be forward on your computer screen, and your hands should be on the home row keys. And we'll talk about home row keys in the next lesson. You should have some space between you and the computer, and you're not necessarily right on top of the computer. It can be very dangerous if you do not type properly. You can be hunched over, and your back can be hunched. You may also suffer pain in your back, especially if you get older. If you're slouched over, you may actually type a lot worse because you're not focused on the typing itself. Additionally, one of the bigger issues these days is carpal tunnel syndrome from typing too much and having repeated short little movements. However, students these days are more likely going to have issues with their fingers and having to type using their fingers on telephones. So at this point, I would encourage students to take the time to practice by sitting up straight with their feet flat on the floor, eyes straight on your keyboard and on your screen, and your fingers should be resting on your keyboard. Get in the habit of showing good ergonomics so that students can type better. We should follow proper safety procedures because it's important to avoid injuries such as the ones noted on the previous slides. You should also be very cautious about those around you when you are typing. You don't want to bump into anyone while they're working. And you should also encourage others to use proper techniques. When I say this, I'm not saying that you should say, hey, so-and-so's not doing this. I should say, hey, I noticed you're slouched over. Maybe you should try sitting up straight. You might type better. So I do encourage students to encourage those around those who may not be typing correctly to sit correctly and follow the directions of safe, proper typing. At this point, I would turn students over to Lab K1, which is CAP 2. I apologize for the error there. Students would complete this lab. There is an assignment attached to this, and this will be posted on my website within the next few days. If you have any questions about this, make sure you ask me in class. That concludes this PowerPoint on typing day 1 for computer applications in Business 2. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, or you can email me at asilva@stluciecharter.org at any time. Thank you.